What's that?
Sunday Night Live with Fight Conversations. A lot to talk about tonight. This is episode 2, and let's talk about it. I'm Lex Las Vegas. This is Trez over here.
Yo, what up? What's happening, man? My fucking lighting situation's all fucked up in the back.
It's all good.
Get it fixed. Get it dialed in over here. What's good,
Alright.
guys? Last night was epic, eh? What do you have to say about that? I thought that was blown away, man. Blown away.
Yeah, I mean, let's start obviously with Wilder Fury. I thought that, you know, Wilder landed that first good punch that left, that visible mark on Fury's face, and then after that, it was pretty much Fury for the rest of the fight. Fury fought a great fight.
I mean that right hand in the first.
That right hand in the first round, yeah. I mean, he got him good with that right hand because that left a nice mark, and Fury was complaining about that later. So
that was right at the end. So I'm gonna admit, I'm gonna open up right here and just let everybody know that my prediction on this deal was 100% wrong. That's what you'll get on these little deals. But pleasantly, it was great just to see that the fight wasn't just it was exciting, even though it was a one-sided fight, but because anything could happen. But we're talking about him
changed up quick from that first shot landed by Wilder. Then Fury took right over.
Yeah, well, and then the other thing is Fury was standing there. He was taking those chances. He was he wasn't he was making things happen. He wasn't trying to just get in. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't just trying to smother or anything like that. He was throwing punches. He was working combos, and then he was using his size and his weight. Man, I mean, he that was another thing. The 41 pound difference in using that. People want to complain. This is the heavyweights, dude. Once you're in over 205 pounds or 200 pounds, you can be in there with a 300 pounder. That's the division, dude. You know what I mean? Like, there's been some real big. I remember there was Corey T-Rex Sanders. That guy was like a 300 pounder, and he had some pretty fast hands for a big guy. I mean, he was just an easy target, but you're in there with monsters. I mean, look at these guys. I mean, Deontay Wilder, he's a monster himself too.
Wilder was used to being the monster. He was used to towering. I remember when he fought Stavern. I mean, you're towering over him by a head, a head cold than him. And what's up, Ella?
It's the little Bambini. What's up, little girl?
Bambini.
With your runny nose.
Yeah, so I mean, that's how it goes. When you're dealing with heavyweights, one shot could change the fight. Look, one shot from Wilder landed on Fury, left a huge mark on his face and a lump on his face that he was complaining about after the fight.
Yeah.
One shot from Fury at 270 might have broke Wilder's eardrum.
Yeah, and now some people, when you see blood and the amount of blood that was coming out of his ear, and you see the way he was moving with his equilibrium, because he was really weak on his legs, especially after that, but he's always, I don't want to say he's always shaky on his legs. He's always kind of an off balance guy. Wilder is, because he just puts everything into his punches. But like, you were watching his legs go all rubbery and stuff like that.
Plus, he's terrible going backwards. He was going backwards, and his footwork backwards was causing him to cross his feet. He was having a lot of trouble, being in a position to throw anything and have to set himself back up again. So, I mean, his defense, people hate on Floyd Mayweather, but when you see the difference between when Floyd's in trouble and he's putting the shoulder roll and defense into effect, and when he's defending himself versus
Well, you know,
Wilder. It's like there's no
when I
no
when I say when I say Fury wasn't smothering the gun, I mean he was, but he was doing it to where he was fighting, and he was fighting at his pace. You know what I mean? A lot of times, guys, when it comes to Wilder or just anybody that's a big puncher, they want to do, you know, any action they immediately want to grab and hold. You know, they want to be separated and stuff like that. Um, you know, other guys, when they, one of the things that they do is it's like how Vernon Forrest fought uh, Shane Mosley in their first fight. He would get his punches off, and then he would fall in, tie up, clinch, and then, you know, use his weight to move him around and do what he did. And Shane Mosley couldn't get anything off. Well, that was what was happening to Wilder. You know, he's getting peppered, and then big punches were coming in, and then they would, you know, tie up, and he was using that weight. He'd lean on him. That's a classic Klitschko move, you know. Hold on one second.
Well, I think there was a lot of discussion about whether or not the towel should have been thrown in. So if you're in the room right now, let's talk about it. What do you think?
Guys,
Should the towel have been thrown in? Did Wilder's corner make a mistake by throwing the towel in? There was some divide in the corner in terms of, you know.
Sorry, but the little Bambino just in there.
He didn't want the towel thrown in, but the towel was thrown in. The authority was there to have the towel thrown in. What do you think? Should the towel thrown in? What do you guys think? Who thinks the towel should have been thrown in?
I think the towel. Yeah, I do think the towel should have been thrown in. I think the defense wasn't there. I don't think he was strong on his legs, and you know, when the towel got thrown in, Fury had come in with some. He piped in 2 right hands. I mean, so bam, bam. The second one didn't hit as clean as the first one, but if he had thrown 2 more, man, that would have just boom. I bet he would have dropped right there. It would have just been bad.
Saved him some damage in a fight that he was not going to win.
No, and that was the thing. The way, again, they're trying to say that he didn't have a busted eardrum, that he has a cut in his ear, a 2 centimeter inch cut in his ear. The way I'm looking at it, from what I've seen in fighters, when I've watched enough boxing, I've seen it in other sports, I've seen it in street fights and stuff. When an eardrum gets popped, the guys they're all over the place. He had all that blood in his ear. I don't know, but it didn't seem like the normal. It didn't seem like the normal Wilder after that drop, you know. And the way that he immediately complained, he wanted to act like it was behind the head or something like that. I think because of that.
Very off.
Yeah, I think because he got he got cracked, he got popped, that he was just like, yo, because there was a great time. There was a fight, Kermit Cintron versus Sergio Martinez, and Sergio Martinez, he had like this ability just to like throw these like kind of hooks while he was just dipping out, and he cracked old boy, and he hit him in the head, and dude thought he got head butted. He was hit so hard. It was just a clean and I think that's what happened to Wilder. He thought he got fouled because he got cracked, or he actually got injured. I think there was an injury there, be it cut, be it.
So that goes to show that there was an increase in power from Fury's punches with the increased weight.
And that's one of the things I did said.
Like he was saying, because this guy Sugar Hill Stewart, he knows what he's talking about, and.
I put that little caveat on when we were talking about how he put on that weight, and you know, the movement, like, you know, people talk about the movement is affected. It's an extra on the frame. But I also said, I put that little caveat on there, said unless he actually is trying to go for the knockout and wants to try to set down on punches, it might help him be able to absorb punches too. But going by the history of of Wilder with his rematches, I thought he was going to go. I thought it was going to be the trifecta. I thought he was going to come in with that heat and catch Fury, and that was going to be it.
I mean, he did touch him right away, but at the end of the day, Fury, is definitely a durable fighter, and he's not the kind of guy that's gonna fold with a single shot. So
Dude, as I'm finding out, that guy has a very high ring IQ because I mean he took somebody. Here's one of the things, man. People want to talk about
comes from a
Wilder.
fight family.
Well, they want to. Yeah, he's a part. He's that gypsy. He's got that gypsy. That snatch thing going on there. But
His dad couldn't
uh,
come to the fight, they said, because he got in some legal troubles. He can't leave.
probably. But
He got somebody's eye out or something
yeah, yeah. Hey,
in
you
a,
know.
in a, in a bar fight or some shit like that. So he's a
Well,
he's a tough dude. Like he just comes from a
oh
tough,
yeah, no. You see that old
tough
footage of like his dad
genetic
training.
fucking group.
You see the old footage of his dad training in Tyson Fury and like his brothers are there, and the dude's just like pretty much it's just like in that movie, man. There was another good movie about a boxer that came from they called them the Travelers, the dude was hitting fucking wrapped up mattresses over tires and shit like that, and he made it all the way to the Olympics. Then they had that fucking those trash can bombs there down in the Georgia Olympics. I think it was like in '96 or some shit like that. I remember that back in the day. But no, but this is the thing, man. Is Fury he's put together a great fight strategy, man. When guys say he was feather fisted, he's he's got pillows in his fists. That's because he's putting shots on you. He's peppering. You know what I mean? He was,
That was the style he was fighting.
yeah, exactly.
He's fighting. Yeah, like he said.
Almost in the sense he's kind of like a Ty Cobb. He's kind of like a Ty Cobb, like the baseball player, like Ty Cobb didn't like Babe Ruth and those guys, all the home run hitters. He goes, that's not the game. He goes, anybody can hit a home run. And then he went and people were like, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah. And then he went like 4 for 4, hit 4 home runs. And he goes, that would just make the game boring. He goes, you need base hits, you need doubles. He's like, this is a strategy, like da 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 da. That's how he's taking it in, like. Obviously, Deontay Wilder's a seek and destroy guy. Fury's in there. He's going to go and he's going to out chess you.
I think that there's more to that shot to the ear than just stitches, because his equilibrium definitely looked off.
No, we were calling it. We were calling it right then and there, bro. I remember I was like
things. They hit his broken arm before the last fight. So,
but I was in the same, man, when he there was a punch where he like threw and like he knew he was way off and overthrew it, and then when he tried to stop, he was just all rubbery legged, and that's just watch the fight, watch just the last. I think it's like the last round or the 11th and 12th round of Osalito Freitas versus Jorge Barrios. Is one of the bloodiest fights out there in recent boxing history, but Osalino Freitas is like losing the fight, and then he drops old boy with a shot to the ear, and then the dude comes out the next round and he just can't. He's just sloppy all over. That was in the 12th round. That guy probably would have tried to figure out and find a way, like Wilder was trying to figure out and find a way if it happened earlier. But the same thing you see it happen with Wilder. His legs are just weak. They're shot.
Well, the question we got earlier that was asked was, do we think that there's going to be a rematch? Well, we know that the clause exists. The question is, will Wilder execute the clause within 30 days for the rematch? What do you think?
Me personally, I believe that if Wilder takes an immediate rematch, I don't know. To me, I don't think that's the best thing. I don't think that's the best thing. I don't think you're gonna catch Fury partying and overdoing it. I mean, I don't know. I honestly believe he needs to heal up. That's the first and foremost. But I think
I wonder what else the fine print in that clause is, like what the longest, like if he accepts the rematch within the 30 days, what's the longest they can make it for in terms of when the actual fight date would be? Do you know about that? Was it 6 months? They get a 6 month.
No, I just think it's an immediate rematch clause, and then where that would tie up both fighters. I think.
I mean,
I don't know I don't know the details.
You wouldn't want, you wouldn't want, him to fight Joshua and lose to Joshua, and then, your rematch is worth what then?
It's still an exciting rematch, you know. It's still an
More
exciting.
exciting with the title. That's what it's about. It's about the title.
The
clause
the title's there. The title's there. I
right?
think I don't think it's about the title. I mean, that's the trinket. I mean, that's the trinket that
That's the whole thing.
binds it together.
You're the champion.
Yeah, but dude,
has to get the championship back. It's in case it was a fluke night. If you had a fluke night, you get an opportunity to get it back. That's the whole idea, the rematch clause for the champion.
I don't put that much.
Is that not the reason?
I don't put that much stock in the belt. No, I mean, I think if you're, I think that they're branded to we want to see it again to like settle the score because let's put it this way: if they have that third fight and then Wilder comes back with a W, then you need the fourth fight to see now you actually need the real 2 out of 3 in the, you know what I mean? Like we get into Pacquiao Marquez all over again, where that first fight was a draw set off the
fourth fight. I don't think. I mean, depending on how the third fight goes, I guess we have to go one fight at a time. But I mean, if they build it as that shot to the ear did affect him so much that it was one of those, one shot in heavyweight fight changes a fight completely type of scenarios, and that was a main decision maker in the fight. So the rematch should be thought of as more even than the fight looked.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to build it. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think everybody's pushing for that was on the stage in terms of the decision makers in both camps. Everybody was there except Wilder.
Well, one of the things I want to make comment on is that there's a split agreement or whatnot, and disagreement in the Wilder camp if they should have thrown in the towel or not. I believe that we talked about it briefly. I believe they should, but I look at it like this, man. The way that your fighter was moving around, the way your fighter was looking, the way that he was losing, I would say throwing the towel on that little dealie just for the simple fact that it appears that he had, as I believe, a busted eardrum. Live to fight another day, man. Why get, he didn't have a chance really. The game plan of Fury was something to really remark on because, here I am talking about, what the fight strategy of thinking he's going to go back to circling, moving, and peppering and stuff like that. But he actually came in. He was making his way in. He's shuffling in, right? Fury. He's pushing his way in on this deal, and then he's throwing his jab. And when Wilder was just his defense was just to lean straight back. When he's leaning straight back, then he throws in that right hand, and bam, man, he was coming in on that, and that's where he was landing. He was landing. He was coming in real sharp on that. He was landing on him good, and I just think that
Wilder had no defense for that at all.
No, none. Wilder had no defense for that. Wilder didn't know.
He didn't know which way to circle out of it. He didn't know where to go.
No, his
comment here from Leonardo Evanson. You want to take that, Trez?
It says Wilder was done, or Wilder was done was the right decision. I wouldn't tell my fight could have been stopped in the 5th if it wasn't. Yeah, I just think it was for safety's sake. I think for his health, I think it was the right thing to do. He definitely wasn't coming back with anything.
Yeah,
he didn't have an answer. And I think, honestly, he was going to start eating bigger shots. I think he was going to, Well, that was one of the things.
He
Hold
was
on one
getting
second.
lined up for some big shots, and he wasn't defending himself well, and it wasn't like he was getting any better, So at the end of the day, I think that health comes first, and he actually his corner did him a favor there.
You got to look out for your fighter, man. You can't
I,
just be
I
like,
think he did a good job. I mean, obviously, as the fighter, when the towel gets thrown in, you're pissed off because that's how it
well,
is.
yeah,
You have the mind of a warrior, that's how it
you
goes.
want to go out. You want to go out on your shield. I get that, and he even said that, and that's his job. That's his mentality. You know what I mean? But as his
100%.
corner,
Yeah, I respect
and
that.
and
But I'm
and
still the right
and
move to throw the towel. So
and as his corner, it's your job to not to not let that happen. In a sense,
he wasn't gonna recover out of that. Like he wasn't defending himself at all. He was just basically like trying to avoid that right hand all the way until he was cornered, and then it was just the left hand in his face. And as soon as he moved the left hand out of his face, the right hand was hitting him. And it was just a matter of time before one of those shots landed really cleanly and caused them some real trouble. And he wasn't even able to throw anything back. I mean, the last round, I think the numbers were like 0 thrown by Wilder, 0. So I mean, when you're not even throwing a single punch, what are you in there for? What are they keeping you in the fight going for? You're taking punishment. You're throwing nothing back. Fight's over. That's it. Exercise your rematch clause.
come
Obviously,
back, fight it,
you
live to
called
fight
it.
another
You
day.
called it. Eardrum. You called it.
Live to fight another day. Yeah, and all credit to Fury for the win because and Wilder for hanging out in there. Definitely, man. Wilder was uh, Wilder was taking his medicine. He wasn't trying to look to get out of there. He wasn't trying to foul. He was trying to figure out how to handle the situation and what to do. And that's one of the things. I'll go back to I'll go back to he has that knockout power. He has that equalizer. He has the detonator, right, in his punch. And it can happen at any time. But when you size him up with almost any fighter out there, he is the underdog. He's the underdog for the simple fact that it skill wise, the guy's got to beat on skill, technique. What you would look, what you would look for in a fighter. You know, I seeing that he didn't have any answer to anything, being injured and all that stuff, dude. I think that he that was just the right thing to do, dude. Live to fight another day. Come back with another strategy. Actually work on have a game plan. It was obviously it was 100%
the game plan. How much love did Fury show him after the fight in the ring? You could really tell. Sugar Hill, I don't think he even said anything. Just like Fury just kept him next to him the whole time because at the end of the day, that was what it was all about. The strategy change from being a boxer who's jumping around, peppering you, and then being one that's sitting down on these shots. And that made a big difference. That made a big difference.
Definitely. No, I will say this though, dude. That's one of the things that Fury does. He's got the toolbox. He's got the skill set. Fury his family from a long lineage of fighters, and he's a slick fighter. And if you're a slick fighter, you can stand and bang. It's a decision. Some guys are just they're not slick. They can't move. They're just bangers. You know what I mean? But if you're a slick fighter, you can stand and bang. And look what he did tonight or last night. He mixed it up. It was great. I honestly thought Deontay Wilder was going to be a little bit more athletically gifted, and as far as finding that, being able to find that missile of a punch.
Hey,
And
everybody always says it. Heavyweights, one punch can change a whole fight. Maybe that's exactly what happened. Maybe that one shot to the ear, disrupted his equilibrium. Even though they're trying to say it's a cut to the ear, whether it was a cut to the ear or not, maybe it's still there was more that was done that hasn't been found yet or
Hey,
hasn't been
sometimes
closed yet, right? So maybe there's more to
sometimes
that story.
sometimes fighters that have never been cut, and then when they get cut in the fight, like you just watch them, like their whole demeanor changes. Or sometimes, like, you know, um, we saw it with we saw it with what was it, Victor Ortiz, right, against Maidana. Um, I think he was so used to having fights go one way. When a guy was cracking back, he started, like, it mentally was affecting him to where he quit on the stool. No quit in either one of these guys, though. And that's
Oh,
the thing.
Wilder didn't want to quit at all.
No, dude. Wilder would be willing to go out on the stretcher, dude. Seriously,
It was
man.
a
I mean,
class act all the way to the end. He showed him a lot of respect. He gave him love at the end, treated him with respect, and that was classy of him at the end. Because realistically, Wilder did say some disrespectful things, and it was an opportunity to give him the old "told you so, I beat you," whatever. And instead, he was like, "Damn, you really hit me with that shot." That's what he said to him when they met each other in the ring. He was like, "You really hit me with that shot. That was some dynamite, dynamite shot. A guy like you with power like that, just keep working and do your thing." He gave him an encouraging, like, pep talk. Like, that was solid. I thought that was class right there from the Gypsy King, 100%.
yeah, man. I look forward to when that guy retires and he starts doing boxing announcing and stuff like that. Or, dude, if he had a podcast, I'd be listening, dude. That guy's great. He drops gems. He's a class act too, man, and he doesn't have to be, you know. But
He should be
usually,
a boxing coach. That would be able to be a thing for him. To do his thing, like find himself a niche, whether it's like to work with just one or two fighters, and maybe not a coach, but like a trainer.
well, you got the other gypsy boxer, Billy Joe Saunders. He's calling out Canelo. He's been calling out a lot of guys. I know in his last fight, and he admitted he didn't look good. He said he wasn't all there, but uh, he's got skills, man. He's got skills.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
agree. What's he got to lose? Why not? He knows whether or not the shot to the ear really affected him. How much it affected him. So at the end of the day, it's a big payday for him. And I don't know how long they can set it back, but I'm guessing it's going to be at least 6 months. He's going to get to train, to recover and train, maybe more. He might get more.
yeah, man. Um, it depends on how you look at it, dude, because I mean, I honestly believe Deontay Wilder detonates anybody else he fights again. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's getting out of the way. I don't think anybody's going to be able to pull off what Fury does to him. I think Fury's. I think. Yeah. Oh yeah. This ain't Streamlabs. Yeah. I think Fury's. He's a little bit more versatile. But yeah, Mark, it ain't Streamlabs, dude. This is StreamYard. It's it's
Thanks
better.
for noticing.
Yeah, dude.
Now back to the fights.
Yeah. But woo, man, something just got me in
Hey
the eye.
man, we're just trying to talk fights at the end of the day. So you're here, so let's talk fights. Who cares how we're here?
Oh no, we were we were helping each other out, trying to figure it out before I found StreamYards. So, yeah, no, I do want to give a big shout out to StreamYards. These guys are awesome, dude. This is what's allowing us to stream and
Shout out to
connect with
StreamYard,
everybody. Yeah, dude. So if you want to sign up, we'll put the link in the
the old
description.
Canadian goose with the headphones.
What's that?
The old goose with the headphones.
Goose. I don't know what you mean.
That's the StreamYard's logo.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
That's their logo.
Up there, boo
There it
bam.
is. The old goose with the headphones. Or it's a duck, I guess.
Then we got our deal.
Fight Conversations, the Fight Conversations logo. All right, well, let's jump off this. Let's jump right into some UFC.
Yeah.
Get a half
Yeah.
hour on boxing. Let's go into some UFC now. There was UFC on ESPN Fight Night 26 in Auckland, New Zealand. The headliner was Dan Felder against Paul Felder against Dan
Yeah.
Hooker. And I think Paul Felder was 5 and Dan Hooker was 6. So Paul Felder had the higher rank going into this fight. So there was a couple other fights on the undercard. Let's get to them first. I did want to recognize Angela Overkill Hill. We did select her as a standout for us on the Fight Conversations page. Basically, I think that her finish using those vicious elbows in her last fight just put her on our radar. And when she took this fight last minute against an opponent with not much experience in the UFC, with a bunch of experience, but on the undercard as a fill-in fight, this was a great opportunity for Angela Hill to show her skill, and she did. She dominated the fight. She used those elbows, and she got a decision win. So Overkill Hill got that win. We called that one. That was a nice underdog. She wasn't actually she was a favorite, but it was an undercard selection that we had made based on the fact that they threw her in there last minute, and we expected her to perform and capitalize on an opportunity.
Hell yeah. Hey, real quick, I just want to I want to go back real quick to boxing. Yeah, you got it up over there. Leo
Yeah, let's do
saying
it. Go back to it.
he says I'm from the UK, but still think Wilder has a good chance at beating Joshua. Me too. Like we always say, like we like to say, you get in the water, or you get in the shower, you're gonna get wet. That I don't. I think he leaves himself up to get hit. He's got to come out in the blitzkrieg, and I don't think he's going to do that. I think it would be a great scrap. I think they should do it. People losing heavyweight boxing is, especially one of the best, all the greats of life. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Leo, thank you very much. Boo, bam. This is one of the things I want to talk about real quick. The undefeated thing. It is great to be undefeated. It is great to be undefeated, and all power to you. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying not to lose. I think when you take on, let me just put it to you this way. I think if Fury, I think if Fury was to retire undefeated, I think that would be great. I think like Joe Calzaghe being retiring undefeated, I think that's great. Up to a certain extent, I could kind of pick a couple of things that I would criticize. But the thing is these guys, they took on challengers. They took on some tough dudes, guys that were like in their prime, that kind of stuff. But if you're great, one of the things that like the greats do is they do great things after a loss. And that's where you get into how strong they are mentally, because it is unbelievably hard for a guy to mentally overcome a fight loss, come back and be on top of his game and like do things and be ready to go and be, hey, what up, Gabe? It's really hard for somebody to come back and not be bothered. Like Manny Pacquiao, dude, getting knocked out. I mean, his losses are like knockouts. You know what I mean? Or they were like one-sided beatings. What up, Gabe? But he came back and he did great things. You know what I mean? Like Bernard Hopkins took a first loss. I mean, how defeating does that got to be? You get out of prison and your first professional fight, you lose. And you got a decision to make. Am I gonna keep taking these losses and just be it, or you're like saying, fuck it, I'm going all the way and I'm putting everything into this. And then he went on this unbelievably undefeated streak, you know what I mean? And then he lost against
your
Roy.
guy.
But yeah, then he lost against Roy Jones, and then he went on like another 10 years before like another loss. You know what I mean? Like, and then after those losses, he went on to do other great things. So that's what I'm getting at. The greats do great things after a loss. It's the mentality. Look at Prince Nassim Hamed. Everybody calls him great, but he took one loss, then he got a win, and then just fizzled, gone, never to be seen again, dude. That's not great. He was a flash in the pan. It's great when you do great things. You know what I mean? Like after loss, you put in that work, and just look at all the fighters.
These guys were flash in the pan because they have long records. So flash in the pan wasn't the situation here for either of these guys. The next question we got is, will Joshua fight Fury or Wilder, depending on who comes out of the rematch?
Hey, Gabe says he still misses the Prince. I don't. Yeah, Tiny Roy Jones. I mean, I do, but I don't. But I liked watching him. That was my first mega fight I ever went to.
Yo,
was Prince Nassim Hamed,
bro.
What's that? What'd you say?
Giving a shout out to Jason Teague.
Oh, right. But no, Prince Nassim Hamed versus Marco Antonio Barrera was my first mega fight I went to, and that was amazing. Especially because I was going for Barrera. But that guy was exciting. But you got to do great things after loss. Greats do great things after loss. Undefeated is fantastic, but great things come from after that. So I'm glad that was brought up. Thank you very much, dude, Leo, for that. And then we got you got it, the best fight in the best. Should Joshua fight the winner? What do you guys think? I say yes. I think he should fight Fury.
That's what we're talking about. What Leo's talking about over here, about the best fight and the best. If you want to be the best, Joshua, you have to fight the winner of, I guess, the rematch. I guess the rematch has to take place first. Because
you know who Bob Arum was talking mad trash about Joshua. He was like, "You're not elite. You lost against a guy you should have just outright beat. And not only that, you got stopped." He was like, "You're not an elite fighter." He's like, "You can't be an elite fighter." And I'm like, look at this guy, dude. Like, now he needs to go up. Now he needs to go up against these fights. That's a great way. You get an 80-plus-year-old man goading yeah, but he's been there, dude. He's been there. He knows.
Oh, man. What a great atmosphere it was, though, last night for the fights. I mean, these fights have not been boring at all. Not a single fight that Fight Conversations has covered has been a boring fight. We've seen knockouts, I think, with 5, 6, 7 knockouts already in terms of, different events, maybe multiple knockouts in a single event. It's been an exciting bunch of fights this year already. 2020 has been exciting fights, exciting action.
Yeah, next week there's an interesting boxing matchup. We're gonna see Jesse Vargas and Mikey Garcia coming back from his drubbing from Errol Spence, so that should be a good one. Pardon me. What do we got here?
Joshua, I agree with that. In terms of, well, let's read it right there. So Joshua's definitely a more technically sound boxer than Wilder. Wilder's not really technically sound at all.
No, not at all.
He's the one punch equalizer. So I think that from what I saw from watching Wilder's fights over the years, he really had a huge reach advantage and size advantage, being 6'7" over the years on most of his opponents. And he really used that to line up those shots. And you saw it starting the fight last night. He really started the fight with his hands down. He wasn't really even used to being traditionally with his hands up, boxing in a defensive style. He was used to just letting those missiles fly. And and now he's fighting somebody who's actually taller than him, with a longer reach than him, right? That's technically sound. That's stuffing a jab in his face and making him pay when he gets out the way by throwing punches over it and around it. You know,
Oh
so
yeah, I mean, I was. He's always great at feigning, but he was using those feints, Tyson Fury, um, masterfully last night, where he was actually feigning, and
yeah,
then
100%.
and then when Wilder thought nothing was coming, then he would pipe in a jab and in a right hand. I was like, whoa. I mean, can you ask for somebody to do anything sweeter in the sweet science? No, you know. Um, but Gabe, you're saying the rematch must take place first. I don't know. I don't know if that's the best thing if you should take the rematch right off the bat, because I mean, I look at it like this: if are you cashing out? Are they going to be cashing out, or what development? How much can Wilder change in the immediate rematch? I think he needs to regroup. I think there's a little bit more that needs to be put, pieces of the puzzle put together. Maybe look at getting a new trainer. Because I'm looking at it like this: if this dude did have a busted eardrum, I mean, you got to go by the way he's just responding to things. If this dude didn't see that, like Breland saw it, do you want him in your corner? Is he actually doing the right thing? I don't know. I could be a bit of a dick in saying this, but I think that guy might be looking at what's on his dinner plate ultimately. Yeah. Hey, I'll and I was talking about his trainer, but real quick, I was putting on. Fury did put on a master class. He 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 not only boxed beautifully, but as we were talking last night, Lennox Lewis, he was the pugilist specialist in there. He used the ring generalship. He used the space, staying in the pocket. He put those punches together. You can't ask for anything better than a little from a big guy. Holy shit. You know what I mean? Speaking of big guys, did you guys, what'd you think of that tall drink of water? What was his name? Fundora, Sebastian Fundora. The guy's like, what, 6'5", 6'6", fighting the dudes. And he was throwing some pretty tight punches inside, man. He kind of had that Riddick Bowe action going.
From
But
what I saw, he has some potential.
yeah, tall. He was like Tommy Hearns when he was like a 147.
Super tall. How tall was he? He's tall. He's taller than Fury. No,
Dude, he's like 6'5", 6'6", dude.
6'5".
That kid.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, something like that. It's ridiculous. I thought somebody posted it was like 6'7". I was like, no freaking way. But yeah, but still 6'5". Good God. Dude's huge, And he was coordinated. You know what I mean? Like, I always like it when I always like watching like when basketball dudes get in fights, because they look like newborn giraffes trying to throw punches and shit, dude. They're just all
just trying to walk.
Couple guys had it though. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he had that right hand. A couple dudes in boxing. Hey, hold on one sec, dude. I got a crying kid over here. One sec.
Do what you gotta do. All right, so we're gonna switch to Paul Felder over here. So, what do you guys think? You think Paul Felder should have got the decision? He seemed pretty broken up after the fight. They put the microphone. Dan Hardy, interviewed him in the octagon after that, and asked him if he thought that, how he felt, and he said that it might be the end. That he's got a 4-year-old daughter that misses him when he does this. So, what do you guys think? You think he got robbed? You think he should have won that fight? I thought he put in work at the end of that fight, but those takedowns, not that a lot of damage was done or came out of those takedowns. I think most of the damage to both fighters came out of the stand-up. But this is one of those fights that comes down to how you judge it in terms of how it looked. It was close. It was super close.
What are you talking about? The Felder fight?
I'm going Felder right now.
Oh yeah. I think it's a flip of a coin. I think here in the hometown, like you said, I'm beating the old drum again, but you got to step on the gas. Maybe not go for the knockout, just go for points. You know what I mean? Like, go, and that's one of the things. just to
Gotta mix in that takedown, you know. If you want to go for points, you gotta mix in a takedown here or there. You know, when the round is getting stagnant and the shots and the punches aren't going, end of the round, try to steal a round, get a takedown at the end of the round. Grab a leg, you know, do something.
Yeah, dude,
you know,
chip away,
punch,
kick
end
it.
up close, shoot down low, change levels, maybe take a double leg, single leg, do something, you know.
Kick the legs, work, chip, pick, take, don't just sit there, try to just end it with one punch, man, or try to hurt them with just one thing. It should be methodical. It should be, it should be strategic. It should be, the ocean tide eroding away at the shore. You should be not, as the tide rises, I should say, just coming in, just working them over. That's where you create your opportunities ultimately when it comes to knockouts. Ultimately that's what's needed is you gotta keep working. Yeah. Are you laughing at? You laughing at that?
Laughing at some comedy over here. The old grab a brick comment. Shout out to grab a brick. It's just one of those old sayings. Grab a brick, like in Friday when you throw the brick at the bully. Grab a brick. When in doubt, grab a brick. I don't know if a brick would have helped Wilder at that point. As bad as he was at that point, I don't even know if a brick would have helped him.
Yeah, but Felder, Wilder, anybody, dude, fucking,
And that Hooker comment, see, that's what we were talking about in the past fight conversations. One of the worst things that you could do is to emotionally charge your opponent. Dan Hooker, obviously his last name is Hooker. His family name is Hooker. Felder posted some joke after he was called out about like some meme about Hooker being prostitute, something like that. Dan Hooker took it extra offensively, and he was really set on making Felder pay for it. And I thought there was a lot of mind games played by Dan Hooker, the Hangman, also, because it was interesting to me how they did all this respect, nose to nose touching all week long, respect, touch nose to nose, respect, nose to nose, which I thought was a lot for Felder to go along with that more than just once. Because at some point you want to respect your opponent, but you still want to break his face, and you don't want to respect him at the same time, like on the level of competition. You want to dominate him, right? You don't want to respect him. So at the same time, so I don't know. I just thought that whole nose to nose thing for me was whack. And then after all that respect nonsense, when they first started the fight to touch gloves, Felder puts his gloves out, Hooker pulls his gloves back in. He doesn't want to touch gloves. So, he was playing his little mind game there. He was pissed off still at that Hooker comment. That Hooker comment, that dug deep for him, and he made him pay for that.
That got his goat, huh? Yo, Jason
D, bro, you got a great profile image there, buddy.
I like that. I like that over there.
Censored. It must be something super cool and explicit. That's why it's censored out, right?
Hold on, I want to go back to what Gabe was saying over here. Wilder needs to evolve his footwork and defense. He needs a new camp. Yes, Wilder does need to needs to work on some things, man. Like people talk about getting him with Mayweather Sr. or somebody like that. He definitely needs to be with somebody who's gonna be able to. You can't just change him, but you can give him some other things that he can use that he has naturally. You know what I mean? I think who he's with, this guy who he's with, has got him as far as he's going to get him. He's going to go. But I do believe
everybody thought Fury was foolish to change up his camp. But at the end of the day, it worked. Imagine what Wilder would look like if he had Sugar Hill Stewart game planning for him. There's another Sugar Hill Stewart out there by another name somewhere. You just got to find him. And I think that Wilder, I think he got himself in a situation where if it's not broke, why fix it? 42-0, 41 knockouts. Why is he going to change camps at that point? But now,
Yeah,
after this loss, it's time to go back to basics. Like the old Rocky movie, you go time to go back to training.
I had the tiger, baby. I had the tiger, baby.
Yeah, back to basics. Back to simple training. So let's get it going, and may have to change up the methods. So might have to grab a brick.
Yeah, load it up, baby.
Grab a brick. Oh man. But last night was a great time at Chancla's Cantina. Absolutely. That's
and I want to give a big shout out to I want to give a big shout out to Eddie and
shout out.
Yeah, Eddie and Megan over there at Chancla's Cantina here in Las Vegas. They put together the fights. They buy the pay-per-views. They do that stuff. They put it up there. They have us. They take care of us. They work with a lot of local talent here in Las Vegas. I think they're really great for our community as far as that stuff. There's no gambling there. It's a bar. It's a restaurant. There's no smoking inside, which is absolutely fantastic. The food's great.
The food is great.
The food is great, dude. Huh? If it ain't Eddie in the back, it's Ma Dukes in the back over there cooking. So it's some home cooking up in there.
The wings are off the chain. Nobody's never complained about the wings, but absolutely, Eddie and Megan are both cool as hell. They have a great atmosphere over there, especially for the fights. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, and every Wednesday comedy too. Comedy and Notorious.
Oh yeah, 50-cent wings. So if you're trying to come grab some wings, that's a good time. Get them half off, or I think half off, maybe less, maybe even less.
Yeah, dude.
How could you hate on that?
Yeah,
about 50 Cent. Dan Hooker came out to 50 Cent. Many men wish death upon me. And he put it on him. Dan Hooker has those chimpanzee arms. He really does.
Oh yeah, dude.
He really does.
To where what's funny is like his arms for like throwing punches are like that long like that, and he's got those like those hooks, he's like a natural hooker. It's like born and raised.
He can just move off the center line and just bring it all the way in and touch you, and then move again. And Felder was so far away from his counter punches, and the only way Felder was going to get it done was to be first. And Felder put himself in a bunch of situations where he threw combinations, but he was waiting to counter, and that wasn't going to work for him. So I think Felder fought a brave fight, but I mean, obviously he led us into a little window into what his mentality was at the end of the fight, thinking about his daughter. Maybe he had a little bit in his head that this might be the last fight if it doesn't work out, which is never a good thing when you're in a fight. You don't want to be thinking, that's my escape hatch. You want to be thinking win, 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 win. That's it. So
yeah, it's funny is one of my comedy buddies here in town, we were talking about shows and all that stuff, and a lot of these shows in Las Vegas, they're these contests, give some money, and both these guys, they ain't got no money, and they're like, dude, I'm starving, I haven't eaten, and the one comic goes, dude, you want that money? He's like, you go up there, you tell some jokes like you're hungry, like you need that money. And that dude went out there. It was the only thing he had coming in income, win that little thing. And he did. He won that shit. And he got a couple hot dogs. He was happy. You got to go in there like you this is it. Yeah. I got a show tonight.
Failure is not an option.
I got a show tonight in just a couple hours over here going to downtown Grand Las Vegas at the Delirious Comedy Club. And I'm trying to be a regular up in the club. I'm going down there like I'm hungry tonight. Ah.
Yo, let him have it. And yo, let me shout out right now and take this opportunity wearing this Lakers shirt to shout out Kobe Bryant, because that was one of the best characteristics of Kobe and his Mamba mentality. You know, we're talking about being hungry and going out there hungry. And this guy, even with 5 championships, even being a multimillionaire, even being considered easily behind Jordan as the number 2 best player in the game at the time, number 3 maybe with LeBron in the conversation. He was so hungry still to win every night. And that was the Mamba mentality. That was that killer mentality that he wanted to win even in a practice. He wanted to win everything he ever did, you know, with a sick amount of intensity. So, you know, shout out to Kobe Bryant, because that Mamba mentality, that's something that's rare amongst athletes, because a lot of times that's why we don't see those big fights in boxing between the best at the time. Why do you think Mayweather didn't fight Pacquiao until several years later? Because at the end of the day, he didn't want to take that loss. He didn't want to risk that. He didn't want to put it out there, right?
Yeah, man.
So
yeah, he had to take a loss in court for defamation of character.
Yeah, so you gotta
coming up with some bullshit.
You gotta respect a guy like Kobe Bryant that has the Mamba mentality and wants to kill, even though he's already living a cushy life and he made it, and he chooses the sacrifice. I mean, LeBron's the same way. These guys.
Well, you got to give it up for Mayweather with his conditioning and shit, though, man. He's like that dude. Like, you're never going to see him get tired in the fight. You know what I mean? Like, that dude. I mean, I've driven up through Summerlin where my friends live and shit. 3 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning. There's a Rolls Royce and a Bentley front and back, and driving down the road, and Mayweather jogging in between them. You know what I mean?
Mayweather's defense, you know, there was the whole speculation of whether or not Pacquiao was on the juice when they were supposed to fight in their air quote prime, right?
So yeah.
That's also an issue. I don't want to get on Mayweather. Mayweather's one of my favorite fighters, you know, out here. Mayweather's a betting favorite. Mayweather, you know, did so many good things for Las Vegas. So, I mean, what a different type of fighter, though, between, if you want to look at Mayweather and Wilder, you know, offense and defense, just complete different sides of the spectrum. You know, to have a complete fighter, to mix those together, that's what we're seeing more with the Tyson Fury. And that's why he prevailed last night in such a spectacular fashion, with Mike Tyson himself, you know, cheering him on. That was an amazing thing to see. So squash all that bullshit I heard out there. Some of these broadcasters trying to ask racial questions. Is it traditional white black fighter bullshit? And I love Tyson Fury's answers to all of that. That it's just two people, just two guys boxing. And at the end of the day, you know, you want to make it all about black and white. But Tyson Fury, he's named after Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson's rooting for Tyson Fury. So go take that with your racial shit and stuff it.
Yeah, dude. Stuff it.
This was about boxing.
No, 100%, man. It's and you can't just go skill for skill, tit for tat. It's who comes out on top, man. There's more than one ways to skin a cat. My man Ian Telford, exactly, dude. It ain't about all that, dude. You know.
Yeah, fuck that bullshit.
We come from the colorblind clique, dog.
That old school style of trying to make headlines at a racial beef between things that don't exist. At the end of the day, you know, sports have shown, you know, in a lot of ways.
Boxing's already racial enough, like talent. As is.
It's about talent. At the end of the day, nobody cares if you got the talent. Nobody cares what color you are, what race you are. That doesn't make a difference.
You know, we want to know what's funny, dude. Nationality comes in as a big part, dude, because before you got I was talking with my buddy
interest, but I'm talking about in
terms I was talking about my buddy Ty Eric. We were talking, you know, and I was referring to they're talking about Cal and Nikki going to be fighting Heinous, and one guy's Polish and the other guy's Swede. So I was like, yeah, the Swede's fighting the Pole, you know, and one of the people there are like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, my friend Ty's like, oh, obviously you've never been to a gym, dude, because they're like, oh yeah, the Irish dude, is fighting the Brit and that guy, like everybody, it's how they refer to it, like, oh, the Mexicans fighting the Chinese dude, da da da, they're not even throwing out names and shit, dude. But ultimately, man, I mean, that's just the pride of, like, especially when you get into Olympic boxing and stuff like that. But I enjoy it. All the way through. My whole thing is, like, when they try to put it, and a lot of people got mad at Bernard Hopkins, and like I said, he's my favorite fighter. But he's like, I'll never let a white boy beat me. That ain't as racist as, like, saying racist thing. That's just a goad. That's like
that was
ticket sales.
Era, we're in the next era now, where it's just, it's just about fighting. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let's just do it in the ring. So,
well, yeah, but
I don't want to see Fury against Joshua on some black-white shit either. It's just
no.
I'm not like excited for Fury because he's white. Like, that's just like ridiculous. Like,
oh yeah, dude. Fuck that, dude. I can't stand that mentality. But you get that, dude. You get that with a lot of casual fans.
ESPN reporters trying to bait with those questions. How do you feel about this, that? I thought Tyson Fury's answers were great. I didn't hear.
That's because there's some dildo who's just trying to get that algorithm and that shit up going, getting people all worked up, over race, and trying to get the ratings up. You know what I mean? So they can get a good sound bite, and they did. They got a great sound bite. They just didn't get the one that they wanted. Probably they got a fantastic sound bite, because you can't come in, but you can't come in better with a better example on how to be, the way Tyson Fury answered that.
Fury is great for boxing, the way he can, be a ambassador for the game, really, take the camera. And I saw him do interviews on several different forms of media, everything from, serious to, comedy type of programs. And at the end of the day, he can really deliver an excellent message. I even saw his father do an interview. So they know how to carry themselves. They're a smart family in terms of knowing how to deal with, the media, 100%.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's good for boxing, because Wilder, he was definitely behind in the whole speaking. And Conor McGregor has definitely proven that if you want to have the big draw status, you got to be able to talk a good game also. Similar to if it was WWE, you got to be able to sell it.
No, definitely. Well, hey, man,
we're coming up on the end here. It's been Sunday Night Live Fight Conversations.
Yeah, man, appreciate you guys tuning in. If you ever got a question or anything, any topic you want us to discuss, hit the comments or hit the page.
Email on Fight Conversations or anything like that. Always contact.
Post it up on the page. Post it in the group. We'll cover it. We'll talk about it. We'll bring it up. We want everybody involved, guys. I appreciate everybody that's commenting, that's been coming through. Jason, Ian, Gabe.
Yeah, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Fight Conversations. Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell for notifications.
We want to give a shout out to Leo too.
Shout out to Leo. Yeah, we plan on doing a whole bunch of spontaneous live streams over the next week. So definitely hit that bell for notifications. Find out when Fight Conversations is going live.
Hell yeah, guys. Thanks much.
Have a good one.
Peace out.